This is a CBS News special report. I'm Gail King with Tony DeCopel, and Anthony Mason is at his home today. We have breaking news for you from Washington. It's our first detailed look at how many Americans have lost their jobs because of the coronavirus pandemic. And it's a lot. People filed unemployment claims last week.
We know it's going to be a lot. We're waiting for that number to come in. To give people an idea of what the boundaries could be, some estimates are as high as 3.4 million people.
Yes.
There has never been a week in the history of these numbers, more than 50 years, where the number has been more than a million. At the height of the Great Recession, the worst week on record was 665,000.
And now they're talking about triple, quadruple that.
They're talking about nearly five times that. So we know it's going to be bad.
But we just know it's going to be bad.
Yeah.
That we do know.
Because the range of industries here that are not putting people to work, hospitality, transportation, you name it. And there's about 30 million people in jobs that are vulnerable right now. And the beginning of these unemployments began 2 weeks ago, and it's accelerating. We have our Jill Schlesinger with us, who's going to help talk through these numbers, as 21 states have ordered non-essential businesses to close. Other places are cutting back because they know they're not going to provide the services they were. They need fewer workers. So, Jill, this is unlike anything we've ever seen before. We know that, even as we await the official number. How bad do you expect it to be?
Well, it looks like we just got the official number, and it's over 3 million.
Ooh.
And I want to put that in context, gang. This number is just beyond what a lot of people thought just a few days ago. We saw the peak of layoffs, weekly claims, in 2008, 2009. We never got beyond 700,000. This is the highest number by a magnitude of 4 or 5 times. What does this tell us? This is the first week where we're seeing claims jump in such a big way. I think, unfortunately, we are going to see subsequent weeks follow on to this. This could persist for a while, especially as a lot of businesses try to take advantage of that financial lifeline that Congress is throwing out right now.
You and I went through 2008, 2009, covering it together. That was a financial crisis. This really is also a financial crisis, in effect, isn't it? Wow.
Absolutely. I mean, a health pandemic has become a financial pandemic. Of course, we know that your health is the most important thing to you. But obviously, the knock-on effect of businesses laying people off, furloughing, shutting down, this is going to compound the issues. I think that's why when we were talking about that rescue plan that was announced, and we were talking about it yesterday, and I used the word lifeline, I got a lot of people who responded to me and said, I need that lifeline. And what we are learning now is more than 3 million people are in need of those enhanced unemployment benefits, that extra $600 a week. And we need our small businesses to stay in business. So we've got to see this money flow to those businesses as quickly as possible.
Now, we keep hearing about several big-name companies, Jill, that are putting out the call to hire thousands of workers during this time. How will that help offset some of these losses, do you think?
Well, I think it will be great. We've heard Instacart announce 300,000 jobs. We heard Walmart,
Amazon.
150,000 jobs. Amazon, 100,000. CVS, Walgreens. But, you know, I tried to do a back-of-the-envelope calculation yesterday of all the announcements, and it's about, let's say, 800,000 or 900,000 jobs. Well, we have more than 3 times as many as those numbers of new jobs who are on unemployment right now. And so that is why this is so vitally important. We have got to get money to people who are impacted. We have to do this for the country. We have to do this for the economy.
Jill, you mentioned it's so important.
Jill, if you're one of those...
Go ahead, Anthony.
Jill, if you're one of those... Thanks, Tony. If you're one of those unemployed people, how long do you think it's going to take before you get some help?
Well, I think that the issue right now is that the unemployment benefits at the states has been clogged up, and we got a lot of information about certain states where their websites were overrun. Hopefully, the federal government sending money to states is going to help beef up that process. I'm a little bit more concerned with some of the people who are getting those checks, those $1,200 and $500 checks for kids, because unless you have direct deposit on account with the Treasury Department, for the IRS, it could take up to a few, maybe 4 months. So if you always got your tax refund through direct deposit, it's going to be a few weeks. You should be okay. But a few weeks still feels like a long time. Again, the sooner, the better.
All right, Jill, a few weeks does seem like a long time, particularly when we've just learned we've had the worst week for unemployment claims in the history of the numbers, more than 50 years. Our coverage of this economic crisis, which began as a health crisis, will continue on our 24-hour streaming network, CBSN, and you can watch it at cbsnews.com or on our CBS News app.